In this video, I'll show you how to build a pivot table in Google Sheets from scratch. You'll learn everything from selecting your data, building the pivot table, all the way to filtering and slicing your data for presentations. I'm excited about this one, so let's dig in. I have passing data pulled from the NFL's website from over the past decade, or from 2010 through week 16 of 2019. That's over 950 rows of data. I also added a few data points myself. I'll use this massive data set to create my pivot table within Google Sheets. As I'm going through these examples, you'll need to use your imagination around what data you would use in your workplace or at home. So let's get going. These are the categories I have that are worth calling out: the player's name, the respective year of the statistics, the team the player was with that given year, their passing stats, and their passer rating. I also included the conference and the division they were playing with during the respective year of that data. There's so much data here it would take ages to sort through it the old-fashioned way. It would be difficult to tell a good accurate story with this data if I was fielding spontaneous questions in a meeting. I wouldn't be able to sift through it fast enough. I need to clean it up so I can tell a story easily and efficiently. So let's dig in and learn how to work smarter instead of harder. The first step is to decide what I want to include in my pivot table. In Excel, it's always best practice to create an actual table for your data before building a pivot table so that any new data that you will add will be included in the pivot table as well. But in Google Sheets, you don't have to do that. It's done automatically for you. In fact, if I'm not worried about any future data, I don't even need to highlight anything. Since I'm on just one of the cells in this data, Google Sheets can pick up on what data you want to include by itself. All I need to do is click on the Data drop-down tab and select Pivot Table. From there I get a pop-up. Now I can still change the range from here if I'd like. Just in case I want to add data from next year, I'm going to change this range to be all of columns A through V, instead of just through row 960. The default option is for Google Sheets to add the pivot table to a new sheet, so I'm okay with that. So I'm okay with everything on this pop-up. That means I can just click Create. You'll notice that Google Sheets created a new page and added a blank pivot table on the left-hand side of the screen. On the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see the pivot table fields options come up. If you're used to pivot tables in Excel, you'll probably notice some differences, but also a lot of similarities. But since you're here, that means you want to learn about Google Sheets. So let's dig in. To begin, let's learn about the different areas of a pivot table. First, we'll learn about the values area. Let's say I want to calculate the total amount of passing touchdowns. Unlike Excel, which is drag and drop, Google Sheets uses drop-down menus. If I click Add and select Touchdown, you can see that there has been 7,767 touchdowns thrown since 2010. Let's say I also want to know how many total passing attempts and completions there have been since 2010 as well. I'll just add them to the values area too. Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. I don't want to include touchdowns just yet. I'll add them back later. For now, I'd rather just include attempts, completions, and completions percentage. I just click the X to remove touchdowns as an option, and then add percentage as an option instead. There is a problem here now though. It's showing the total completion percentage, but I want the average completion percentage. All I need to do is change it in the right hand side from sum to average. That's a few too many decimals for me, so I'm going to eliminate some of them by clicking up here in the ribbon bar. Also, I want to stretch these columns so I have a bit better visibility. That's a little too big since I want to add values later, so I'm going to shrink them and then wrap text and center it instead. Next, let's learn about rows. This is where I can add specific items I want to learn about. For example, my goal is to know these passing statistics for each player. To do that, I just add player to the rows area from the fields. If I want to know these statistics per player broken down by year, I can also add year to the rows field. That gets kind of messy though. I'll show you a quick trick. If you right click on one of the minus signs, you can choose to collapse all of the minus signs and then just open them up as you look at each player. This is a little too messy for my liking though, so I'm going to remove year for now. There's a better way to look at year, which I'll show you later. At this point, I want to add a few more pieces of data to the value area. I'll re-add how many touchdowns each player has. I also want to know how many interceptions they have and what their passer rating is. I also don't want to include the total passer rating, I just want the average. So I need to change that from sum to average. Also, again, that's way too many decimals for my OCD, so I'm going to remove some of them. Also, I'll center and wrap the text into new columns for more visibility. For the purpose of the story I'm trying to tell, I really want to focus on passer rating. So I'm going to move that information from the front of the pivot table by dragging it to the top. You can see that when I drag it to the top, it will move the information from the last column in the pivot table to the first column in the pivot table. Next, I want to sort the data so that it shows the players with the best passer rating on top and those with the lowest passer rating on the bottom. By now, I'm sure you're seeing the problem just like I am. It's hard to tell a story when you have players who only have one pass attempt in the last 10 years. Those players are skewing the information and make it hard to really tell a story. I want to get rid of some of that information. There's a couple ways to do this. This passing data is from anyone who has thrown a pass since 2010. That includes any position that has thrown a pass. That includes wide receivers, running backs, punters, and so on. I want to get rid of some of those positions and only include quarterback. The easiest way to do that is by selecting the position field from the filter dropdown. Then, just click on Clear and scroll down and select Quarterback. Now the pivot table only includes quarterbacks. The problem is that there is still quite a few players at the top who only have a few pass attempts. We want to exclude those from our data, because that too makes it difficult to tell an accurate story. I just want to look at players who have over 3,000 pass attempts since 2010. I can do this the hard way by adding pass attempts to the filter section and unselecting anything over 3,000. That would take forever though. There's an easier way to do it. If I click in the upper right hand corner of the table to highlight all of the data and choose Slicer from the drop-down, this will give me some cool options. Where your pivot table options were on the right hand side, you should now see a Slicer options instead. It will ask you what column you want to slice. In this case, I'm going to select sum of attempts. When I click on the drop-down option now, the first thing I'm going to see is a list of all of the values in that column that I can check or uncheck. But I'd rather filter it by a condition that I set. I want to filter by greater than or equal to 3,000. Now I'm only looking at the top passer ratings for those players who have at least 3,000 pass attempts since 2010. You can also look at it from a different lens. We can break this data down further yet and even make the data interactive. I want to break this data down by year but still keep it all looking clean. For instance, if I just add the year to the rows, it gets pretty messy and convoluted. There's a better way of doing this. I can do this by adding a year to the filter option. When I choose only 1 year to look at, this automatically negates the slicer I set up for 3,000 pass attempts, because there isn't any player that would have that many pass attempts in a given year. I can go back and change that to 300 instead of 3,000. There is a bit of a glitch to Google Sheets and slicers. As I change the year, I'll have to go back and click OK on the slicer for each year. But now, as I play around with the different years, you can see that the numbers and players change. For instance, in 2010, Tom Brady had the top passer rating, but in 2019, Drew Brees had the top passer rating. I can break this down even further by adding a filter to the conference field option. Now I'm only looking at the top passer ratings in 2019 for players in the NFC that have over 300 passing attempts. I can break it down even further if I want by adding a filter for the division. Now I'm only looking at the top passer ratings in 2019 for players in the NFC North that have over 300 passing attempts. You can also go back and play with the other slicers. As you can see, pivot tables in Google Sheets, when used properly and efficiently, can be a powerful storytelling tool when looking at tons of rows of data, or even just a few rows of data. Like I said, you'll have to use your imagination when thinking how these features would work with your data sets. My guess is that this should allow you to work smarter and not harder. If you learned something, be sure to leave a comment letting me know what you did learn and how you are using pivot tables. If you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button, click the bell notification, let me know you like the video, and if you learned something from this video, let me know that in the comment section below.